Mike and I have talked about, like, maybe we can introduce something like this into a retreat. And we thought, well, maybe not this one because we're both still exploring, you know, it would have been a little bit rushed to do that. But I am interested in it. And it also scares me, I'll be honest. And you and I talked about this. It's because my experience with mushrooms was, you know, as like a teenager or in the college days, getting handed a chocolate and then going to the bar, you know what I mean? And then going home and seeing freaking spiders on the wall. Like, it was just not a good experience, but it was the environment that I was in. It was the space I was in, all of these things. So I guess I'm just saying out loud that, like, I'm so obsessively curious about what you're talking about. And I have so many questions, and I feel like some of them are stupid, just like I was thinking 6 months ago.
No stupid questions, Trev.
Yeah.
There's only the ones we're afraid to ask, right? That you don't ask, right? You've got to ask them. There's no bad, I like to say there's no bad ideas and there's no bad questions. So shoot.
Yeah. Yeah. So like with the mushrooms, like naturally when I start thinking about all of this stuff, there's a lot of different paths to go down, right? So you think about ayahuasca ceremonies, you think about the Cambo, like what Mike did as a part of his healing on the Lyme disease side of things. And then of course there's this as well. And I think one of the things I'm just taking away right now is that there is a safe way to do this in a controlled environment that you can actually have the experience that you're looking for without just taking something randomly, without really knowing exactly kind of the path to have that experience. Is that true? That's what I heard from you.
100%. Yeah, 100%. You're totally right. So I too took mushrooms when I was a teenager and experimented with that. Like probably.
Yeah, that's the truth, Mom and Dad, in case you didn't know.
Exactly, right? The cat's out of the bag. I mean, I've got a 16-year-old son, and I'm pretty sure at some point he's going to do that too. But that was a very different experience in terms of what I'm talking about, because you don't know what you don't know at that age and your brain's still developing. And, you know, I think you really, what we're more talking about is something that I call set and setting, right? And creating that intention behind what you're going to do. So that, which is very different, right? When we were kids, we were taking mushrooms, we're like, let's go, or going to a party. And I mean, geez, the thought of doing that now, like, that would scare the shit out of me. I would never do that. But now, you know, you fast forward and you go, you've got all these questions and you've got reservations behind it. And you said something that resonated with me, and that you're scared. And, you know, I'd love to speak to that too, right? Because I think for me, I was very scared too, and that's where I think this substance should never go like recreational. It's whatever, ayahuasca, 5-MeO, LSD, any of these things, other than like in a micro dose where it should probably still be controlled in terms of what you're getting, and know how it was made and whatnot behind it to some degree, whether it be natural or synthetic. You know, you got to be really careful about it because it's a very strong medicine, and that's where that creating that setting. So, you know, for me, where do I do it? I try to find a place that's out in the woods and where I am connected to nature, because that is, for me, everything. There's clinic models, and you could do it in clinics as well. But for me, some people feel very safe in that environment. For me, that doesn't work. The other thing is like having a psychotherapist with you, right? Somebody that can, or a counselor, somebody that can hold that space so that it's a safe environment, so that when you consume these medicines, you know, if you consume a macro dose, like, you could be in a burning building and you wouldn't know, is what I like to say. Yeah. Like, if you're taking a large macro dose, you're out of it, right? So you need somebody there in case the phone rings or there's an emergency that can deal and handle that and allow you to be focused on what you're doing and that experience at hand. So that's really important. And then, you know, there's actually consuming the medicine itself. And when you make that statement about being scared, I think my personal belief is this, I will say, that until you can come to a point in which you've explored a lot of other things in terms of asking the questions that you need to ask in order to feel like you understand enough about what's going to happen, and then be comfortable with the unknown. You have to be comfortable at some point with not having control. Control's an illusion. None of us have control. Something can happen right now while we're having this conversation or following, and we got no control over it. So you need to be able to get to a point where you say, you know what? I looked at it personally as if I could get 1% better as a human being, as a biohacker, a deep biohacker. I like to do all that stuff. If I could be 1% better as a human to my wife, to my children, to the people that I surround myself with, whether it be friends or work, I'm going to try this, because what do I have to lose? At this point, what do I have to lose? And that's how I chose to go down that. So again, had somebody who could hold that space. I worked on some of the things that could come up or that I thought may come up while I take this macro dose and this journey, and then went through this beautiful experience. And there was frightening parts to it as well. And I will add that what I thought I was creating and would happen, none of that happened. So just goes to show you control, there's no such thing as it. You can set the intention behind it, but really that's the beauty behind this medicine and other psychedelics. They have the ability to pull out, what do you need to get out of this experience? And I find the people who say that they have a bad trip, there's no such thing. There's just what is.
Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed that clip and you want to watch the full unedited episode, go ahead and click over here. And while you're at it, don't forget to subscribe. It really does mean a lot to me. Thanks so much.